Hi, this is Kristen here. Welcome to another process video. And today I'm working on a Halloween layout. So this is using the Halloween kit that was in the Curiosities and Willow Grove collection. So that's by 49 Market. And this was designed by Vicki Booten. So Vicki ended up having a class this past weekend where she did like a mini album, and she had this tree with like a really dark blue background. And I just thought it was so eye-catching that I wanted to create a layout kind of based around it. And so I decided, though, I wanted to do a little bit of like kind of almost like make the moon look like it had a glow to it. So I went in with daffodil, so that's a 49 Market ink. And most of this video will be me like inking the page, so feel free to fast forward, but I will go off screen, glue everything down, and come back and show you the finished product. So I had to go in fairly heavy with this just because, I wanted it to be a decent glow around the moon. So, and then what she did in the class was she sprayed water over when she did the dark blue background, and I will do that later with that as well. She sprayed water over it and then put a paper towel down and was able to lift up the ink. I honestly have never tried that technique before, so that was a really good lesson for me in that class. I just thought it was super interesting how the ink just came right up. Now with that, I did spray too much, so I did end up having to go back over with a little bit more. And then you'll see me take like the dropper and like just put a few little spots there because I didn't want a bunch, and really the moon was going to cover up most of that. So anyway, so with this, you do want the capability of a sprayer that you can either do like big droplets or like more of a fine mist. So I actually have a Ranger ink nozzle, the distress spray can, or water bottle, I guess I should say. And so that that's actually created and designed so that you can either spray it in like a misting manner or like so that it comes out, bigger droplets. So it just depends on like the pressure that you apply to the actual squeeze, the little squeeze trigger there. So what I was doing there was I was trying to be very careful to not get any of the blue onto the yellow because, of course, color theory, that's going to create green. And so because my yellow ink was still wet, obviously that was going to blend. Now, I could have probably waited for the yellow to dry and then gotten up a little bit closer to the yellow, but I liked kind of that white ring around it. So I that did not bother me at all. So I just went with it. And so I'm just going to go ahead and keep inking this paper up and just getting it darker and darker. And of course I wanted it to be really dark because I wanted it to kind of almost look like how the night sky looks like kind of dusk, like when it's starting to kind of like, go from like a lighter blue to a darker blue and then black. Obviously with the tree, you couldn't do a black ink or else it would have blended into the background. So, I wanted to be careful here to make sure that this did not look like, a daytime sky. So, so of course I was going really heavy with the ink. And this color, I don't know if I said, is Arctic Blitz. I cannot talk today. So I'm going to try to do several extra Halloween layouts and post videos with them this week leading up to Halloween. I don't know that I'll do one. I probably won't have a chance to do one every night. But so I think most days, a lot of days coming up here, I'll probably have 2 videos. November will probably slow down a little bit for me just because I'm usually a little bit busier in November. And, once I get off of the, since I did that 30 days of sketches, once I kind of get off those challenges, I usually will try to kind of like back off just to give myself a little bit of time, to just kind of like not feel like I'm on a strict deadline for things. So this is where I was spraying that. So, look at how cool that is. That is such a neat technique, one that I did not know about. And I'm so glad that, Vicki showed it to us. So, it looks like stars, which I think, really helps, make you believe that that's not like a daytime sky. So I did realize I do need to go a little bit further down with my sky just because of kind of where the tree was going to end. And my problem too, a lot of time with like inking like this, like I sometimes have a hard time deciding where to stop, because then I guess I feel like it looks unfinished at times, but the whole point of it is that this is supposed to be like, kind of like a little bit of an embellishment to add, to the scene of the layout. So, I don't want the whole page to obviously be blue. I'm a more is more kind of person. Like, I will keep adding and adding and adding, and sometimes I've got to tell myself, like, okay, you got to stop. So once this is done, I actually did come back later in the day and spray a little bit more. So here in a moment, I will cut away and I will come back with the finished product and kind of explain what I did there. Everything I do pop up, I pretty much pop almost everything up on foam, and just to give it a 3D effect. So I will pause my voiceover and come back to you here shortly to show you the finished layout. Okay, so I got the layout done. Ended up going off camera and getting everything glued down. So I added a few pumpkins over here. I switched this. I think I was going to put this down there, and I ended up switching it up here because I just thought it made more sense with the pumpkins. Of course, got the bats and the stars on there. And got my son's picture. Got a couple from the cobwebs from the sticker set. This is from the cardstock sticker set. And then I've got to cut this off, obviously. Ripped the ends off here and kind of added some more of the paper. I didn't do the yellow, but I did the black and the orange just to kind of help make the page feel more finished, because I kind of noticed everything was like kind of shifted up, and I needed something down here to just kind of fill out that bottom of the page. So there you go.